Hello everyone, welcome back to day 2 of our 30-day English learning challenge. I'm really proud of you for coming back. Yesterday, we followed Emma as she began a new life in a new city. Today, we have a fresh story. And like always, we are not just learning a story. We are learning real English through real experiences. You will hear common verbs, idioms, and phrases that native speakers use in everyday life. Listen closely, try to understand the flow, and repeat some sentences out loud if you can. Let's dive into today's story. The Stranger on Platform 7. It was a cold Tuesday morning when Riya reached the train station. The sun hadn't come out yet. The sky was still grey and sleepy. She wrapped her scarf tightly around her neck and kept one hand in her pocket while the other held a cup of hot tea. She didn't really like travelling early in the morning, but she had no choice. Her office was calling her for a last-minute meeting, and missing the train would mean missing the chance to prove herself. The platform was nearly empty. Just a few people stood around, some checking their phones, others yawning. Riya sat on a bench near platform 7. The train was supposed to come in 20 minutes. She took a sip of her tea and looked around. The station was old, paint peeled off the walls, announcements echoed in a scratchy voice, and pigeons flew across the ceiling beams. A dog lay quietly near the food stall, sleeping peacefully. Just as she was about to take out her book, a voice interrupted her thoughts. "Excuse me, is this platform 7? She looked up. A man in his 30s stood there, holding a heavy-looking backpack. He wore a black jacket, jeans, and had a kind smile. His hair was messy, and his eyes looked both tired and curious. "Yes," Riya replied. "Platform 7. The train to Central City comes here." "Thank you," he said with a sigh of relief. He dropped his backpack on the ground and sat a few feet away from her on the same bench. "It's my first time travelling by train in this country. Everything looks confusing." Riya smiled. "It always feels confusing the first time, but it gets easier." They sat in silence for a few seconds. Then the man turned to her again. "I'm Raj. Just got here from Nepal. I'm going to visit my sister in Central City." "I'm Riya. I work there. Just going back after the weekend." They began talking, slowly at first. Raj asked about the train, how long it takes, whether it's on time. Riya explained everything. She also told him which side of the train has the better view and which station sells the best snacks. Raj laughed and said, "You should work for the railway department." Riya laughed too. "No, I just travel a lot." As their conversation continued, Raj shared that he had just finished a year of volunteering in small villages, teaching children basic English. "I picked up some good words along the way," he said, "like hang in there. I heard people say it when things were tough." Riya nodded. "Yes, that's an idiom. It means don't give up. You hear it a lot when life feels heavy." "Exactly," Raj said. "And I also heard cut to the chase. Someone said that when I was telling a long story." "That's another one," she laughed. "It means get to the main point quickly. Like stop the extra talk and tell me the important part." The more they talked, the more relaxed they felt. It wasn't often that two strangers could connect like this. They talked about books, food, their favourite childhood memories, and even their worst fears. Raj told her how he once got lost in a jungle for 6 hours. Riya shared a story about how she fainted during a school play in front of 300 people. They both laughed so hard their stomachs began to hurt. "Sometimes," Raj said, wiping a tear from his eye, "it's easier to talk to someone you don't know." Riya agreed. There's no pressure, no past, just now. Suddenly, the loudspeaker announced that the train was arriving in 5 minutes. People started gathering. Riya stood up and brushed her coat. Raj picked up his backpack and looked around. Well, I guess this is it. Not yet, Riya smiled. The train isn't here yet. He looked at her and smiled too. You're right. I always jump ahead, she said gently, one step at a time. As the train approached, the air filled with the sound of metal and wheels. The engine passed by with a roar. Riya pointed toward the third coach from the end. That one's usually less crowded. Thanks, Raj said. You've been more helpful than the internet. She laughed. That's because I'm real. When they got into the train, it was less crowded than usual. They found 2 empty seats next to each other and sat down. The train began to move. Trees, buildings, and people outside turned into a blur. The window fogged up from the cold, and Raj drew a small smiley face with his finger. They talked more on the journey. Riya taught him a few more phrases people use in everyday life. For example, she said, if someone tells you a secret and you promise not to tell anyone else, you can say, my lips are sealed. He repeated, my lips are sealed. Exactly. And if something very lucky happens, we say, that's a stroke of luck. Raj looked thoughtful. Like meeting you today? Riya blushed slightly. Maybe. They rode in silence for a while, watching the world go by. The sun had finally come up. Golden light filled the train. It touched Riya's face softly, and Raj couldn't help but notice how peaceful she looked. He said softly, you know what phrase I really like? What? Take it one day at a time. I think that's the best advice for anyone starting something new. Riya nodded. That's what I tell myself when things feel too much. Hours passed like minutes. The train began to slow down. Their destination was near. People started standing up, grabbing bags, fixing jackets. Raj turned to Riya. Well, I guess this is the part where we say goodbye. Riya looked at him. Or maybe see you again? He smiled. That would be nice. They walked to the exit together. As the train came to a stop, they stepped onto the platform. People moved quickly around them, but the two of them stood still for a moment. Raj said, I know we just met, and maybe it sounds strange, but thank you. You made this journey feel like home. Riya smiled. You too. Good luck with your sister, and everything else. They shook hands. Then Raj walked away into the crowd, disappearing into the noise of the station. Riya stood there for a few seconds more, then turned and walked towards the exit. She had a meeting to go to, a busy day ahead, but somehow everything felt lighter. That day, Riya wrote in her diary, met a stranger, became a friend, shared laughter, stories and idioms. Life is full of surprises. Today reminded me that language connects people more than anything else. And that's the end of today's story. Let's look back at what we learned through this story. Here are some natural phrases and idioms used today. Hang in there. Don't give up. Cut to the chase. Get to the main point quickly. My lips are sealed. I will keep your secret. A stroke of luck, a sudden piece of good luck. Take it one day at a time. Don't worry about everything at once. Also, some useful verbs and phrasal verbs. Wrapped up, to cover tightly. Dropped by, to visit or come to a place. Looked up, to search or raise your eyes. Picked up, to learn something or to lift something. And simple daily use sentences like, is this platform 7? It's my first time here. You've been more helpful than the internet. See you again. Thank you for joining day 2 of our English Learning Challenge. I hope you not only enjoyed the story, but also learned something new today. Remember, the best way to learn English is to live it, through stories, conversations, and real emotions. Write down any idioms or phrases you liked in a notebook and try using them in your own sentences. If this story touched your heart or helped your learning, let me know in the comments. What new sentence did you learn today? Share it below and help others too. Come back tomorrow for day 3, where a new character, a new journey, and new English learning moments will be waiting for you. Until then, take it one day at a time and keep learning.